She was the rightful heir to the English throne, a woman of steel will, and a ruler who defied medieval norms. Yet history remembers her not as a queen, but as an empress in exile. This is the tale of Empress Matilda, the woman who could have ruled England but was denied by the tides of war, betrayal, and the rigid traditions of a male-dominated world. Join us as we unravel the gripping saga of Matilda's fight for the English crown, a conflict that would plunge the kingdom into decades of chaos known as the Anarchy. Matilda was born in 1102, the daughter of King Henry VIII of England and Queen Matilda of Scotland. From the moment she took her first breath, destiny had set her on a path unlike any other. She was no ordinary princess. She was Henry's only legitimate daughter, born into a world where power was meant to be wielded by men. Yet, from an early age, she displayed intelligence, determination, and a regal presence that rivaled her male counterparts. At just 8 years old, Matilda was sent across the sea to marry Henry V, the Holy Roman Emperor. Though little more than a child, she was thrust into the heart of one of Europe's most powerful courts, learning the art of diplomacy, governance, and war. By the time she was crowned Empress of the Holy Roman Empire, she had developed a commanding presence, one that would later define her struggle for the English throne. Matilda adapted to court life with remarkable speed, quickly becoming a trusted figure in her husband's realm. She learned Latin, the language of governance, and was educated in military strategies, statecraft, and law. She observed the workings of the Holy Roman Empire and saw firsthand how power was wielded not just by kings, but by those who knew how to maneuver in the political shadows. When Emperor Henry V died in 1125, Matilda was left widowed at just 23 years old. With no children to secure her claim in the empire, she had no choice but to return to England at her father's summons. But the Matilda who returned was not the young girl who had left years before. She was now a seasoned stateswoman, an empress without an empire, and a woman determined to reclaim her destiny. Tragedy struck in 1120 when Matilda's younger brother, William Adelin, perished in the infamous White Ship disaster, a shipwreck that claimed the lives of over 300 noblemen and left King Henry I without a male heir. The loss sent shockwaves through the kingdom, throwing England's future into uncertainty. But Henry had a solution: his daughter Matilda. In a groundbreaking decision, Henry gathered his barons and made them swear loyalty to Matilda as his rightful heir. It was an unprecedented move, one that defied tradition and set the stage for a future ruled by a queen in her own right. But not everyone was willing to accept a woman as England's sovereign. Despite her father's command, many of the English nobles viewed Matilda's ascension with skepticism. The idea of a reigning queen was unheard of in Norman England, and though Henry's will was law in his lifetime, his wishes would be tested upon his death. To secure her claim, Matilda was remarried in 1128 to Geoffrey Plantagenet, Count of Anjou, a strategic alliance that would strengthen her position. However, Matilda found little happiness in this marriage. Geoffrey was 10 years her junior, and their union was fraught with tension. Still, their marriage produced 3 sons, the eldest of whom, Henry, would later become King Henry II of England. In 1135, King Henry I died, and England braced itself for Matilda's ascension. But fate had other plans. Before Matilda could claim her birthright, her cousin, Stephen of Blois, seized the throne. Backed by powerful noblemen in the church, Stephen was crowned king, shattering Matilda I's claim and igniting one of England's most brutal civil wars, the Anarchy. Matilda was not one to surrender. With unwavering determination, she gathered her allies, including her half-brother, Robert of Gloucester, and her uncle, King David of Scotland. Together, they launched a campaign to reclaim the throne, plunging England into 2 decades of unrest, treachery, and shifting alliances. Matilda's forces waged war across England, and in 1141, she gained a major victory at the Battle of Lincoln, where Stephen was captured and imprisoned. It seemed, at last, that her path to the throne was clear. However, Matilda's struggle was far from over. When she entered London to be crowned, the citizens turned against her. Accounts describe her as proud and arrogant, perhaps because she demanded to be called Lady of the English rather than Queen. The Londoners revolted, forcing Matilda to flee before she could be officially crowned. The tides turned against Matilda when Stephen's forces besieged her in Oxford Castle. With supplies dwindling and escape seemingly impossible, Matilda made one of the most daring escapes in medieval history. Under the cover of night, clad in a white cloak to blend with the snow, she slipped past enemy lines, walking barefoot through the frozen countryside to reach safety. Matilda would continue her campaign, but the tide had turned. Though she held key strongholds in England, she was unable to take the throne. Over time, her support dwindled, and by 1148 she withdrew to Normandy. Her son, Henry Plantagenet, would carry forward her claim, and in 1153 an agreement was reached. Stephen would rule until his death, but Henry would inherit the throne thereafter. Matilda never ruled England as queen, but she laid the foundation for the mighty Plantagenet dynasty. Her son, Henry II, would ascend the throne and establish one of England's most powerful royal lineages. Through Henry, Matilda's bloodline would produce legendary monarchs such as Richard the Lionheart and King John. Matilda's story is one of resilience, ambition, and defiance in a time when women were expected to be silent. Though history remembers her as the woman who could have been queen, her legacy endures through the kings who followed. Was Matilda a victim of medieval politics, or was she ahead of her time? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Tales Beyond Time.